So welcome to the Lean Launchpad class. If you're interested in the logistics on how to take this class, this Lecture 0 will describe it. But if you want to just get started, click on Lecture 1. So the good news is there's actually 4 ways to watch these lectures. So a good way is to kind of watch them and use the Udacity discussion forums to interact with other people watching these lectures. Something that's better is these lectures are free and they don't really require any books or text. But there are books or text, and I would feel a little guilty not telling you that Alexander Osterwalder's Business Model Generation book is kind of the standard for understanding the business model canvas. And the Startup Owner's Manual, written by yours truly and my co-author Bob Dorff, is kind of the standard for customer development. But let me emphasize again, these are not required, and you could understand the lectures just fine without them, but they certainly help explain a lot of the detail in the 617 pages because it's almost an encyclopedia for startups. Enough of the ad. That's the last time I'll mention buying the text or books. Almost best is to actually watch these lectures, but this time form a startup team and actually think about, instead of just sitting in your office or on your computer, actually be watching these as you start your company. Now, the best way to actually watch these lectures is with facilitators and coaches and mentors. And the way you could do that is by physically taking the class with Startup Weekend Next. And if you go to the website, swnext.org, you could find out how to sign up in your city and town and participate as a team with groups of other teams physically week to week. And one of the reasons we kind of suggest that you, instead of just watching the lectures, actually get out of the building and do it, either by yourself or with your team or with Startup Weekend, is startups are not about lectures. And entrepreneurship is not about your grades, and this class is about the work you do outside the building after you watch the lectures, not how much the lectures you watch. Entrepreneurship is experiential, it's hands-on, and it's immediate and intense feedback. So world-class entrepreneurs are never lucky. Never. You make your own luck. It's a big idea. At a single point in time, you'll say, yeah, I just happened to be there when X happened, or gee, that just kind of happened, and I was just there when somebody said X or Y. Over a career, you will now look back and go, you were not lucky. You showed up more than other people. You took advantage of more other people. You raised your hand more often. You were there more often. You got on a plane where everybody else went, it's too much of a hassle. World-class entrepreneurs do that over time consistently. And you could tell the difference of whether you're going to make it or not is when everybody else says, too much work, or, oh, you mean I got to drive over there, or you mean you have to talk to them? No, it's just too much of it, or that's just too hard. I want you to remember that. That adds up over time in a career. And you will start making your own luck, and you will find that stuff will start coming your way. Does this make sense? Right? Yes, this conference happened to happen, but you guys decided to go to it. Somebody gave you a little hint that perhaps you needed to do that, but my point is, don't ever think luck happens to other people. And I want you guys to understand the distinction between standing there waiting for direction versus making your own direction by making it happen. So just as an aside, keep going, guys. This is good.
Well, we thought these guys would know this big problem, so it existed. It was just
it's a big shift, right? Where you think they're just going to grab it out of your hands, and now you realize, gee, there's a portion of evangelism here. And just remember, if you're right, a new market turns into an existing market fairly rapidly, right? Yeah. But at least on day one, when you're ahead of the game, the things you need to do about evangelism, about scale, about whether you're selling or evangelizing, is really kind of different. Yeah. Teaching team, other comments? Or
so quickly add to that getting the people you're talking to as your customers to be talking about this problem itself is part of your journey now, as C explained. Getting that message out there and making your company solution part of the conversation at all the conferences 6 months and a year from now is a critical thing to do. If you do it, you're of course well positioned to take advantage of it.
So the point is that a lot of the reason I'm pushing on these points that we're talking about these things is a lot of the pivots are off understanding the complexity of that chart. More of the pivots are off. There's some complexity. The market's not penetrable. Understanding the ecosystem. There's no insertion point for a new technology or a new company. Those are probably more of the reasons for the pivots than around around the core technology. So the sooner you understand that ecosystem, the sooner you'll have a sense of where you want to stay with it. And again, just focusing back on you guys, you may look at the fuel cell market structure and go, it's just not penetrable for new entrant, even though the technology is applicable.
Right.
So what are you going to do for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, we're going to go try and visit the planning board for Redwood City and see what they're thinking about, because they're working on this possible proposed desalination plant. Try and talk with them about how they're thinking about that project.
And some of you are probably wishing that now, but I have to tell you how proud I am of each and every one of you here, because you're going to look back in what you did here, most of you, and go, holy cow, did we actually do that in a class? While we were taking a course load and work and everything else? And so for me, it's just a really impressive effort on all your parts. Any other comments?
Yeah. I'm guessing for some of you this was the hardest class you might have taken, and that's the intent. Because as hard as this class might have been, it's so much easier than when you get out and do it for real. So the laboratory was a sort of a safe place to stretch your muscles and see if this fits. And for a lot of you, I think it does. And I'm thrilled to have been a part of it. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Congratulations, and best of luck to all of you on Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday, you started for yourself for real.
Yeah. So final comment I would just share is that by design, this class is not taught, right? It's experienced. We set up a framework under Steve's leadership that gets you out of the classroom, and then we all sort of monitor each other.
If you're doing more than just watching these lectures, one of the things you're going to be staring at a lot is the business model canvas. If you're watching this video, the first thing I suggest is stop, go to businessmodelgeneration.com, and download the canvas and print out a bunch of copies. Then go get a bunch of yellow stickies and a red pen, because that's what you're going to be using for the next couple of weeks. Now, what we actually do with the business model canvas is in week 1, you use those yellow stickies to put up all your hypotheses. You probably don't have many facts yet, but you could make some pretty good guesses about what's your value prop, who the customers are, what your channel is, and what your pricing is. But what we're going to be doing is really interesting, is as you come back in with facts, we're going to be marking up the canvas and crossing out the things that actually weren't true and replacing them with the things we've learned. And we're going to do that week after week until what we end up with is a stack of business model canvases. And what you'll find out is at the end of the class, you could actually play back these canvases almost like a film strip and see what you've learned over time.